And we've also built an application to help you determine your ideal asset allocation based on Howard Marks' ideas. But you want to watch this video first to be able to make use the app the right way. Asset allocation is a huge pain in the neck. Every time you visit a bank, your RM or relationship manager will offer you something new, mutual funds or time deposits that offers better returns than the previous year. And then when you browse online, you will see new investment opportunities like crypto hedge funds, real estates, crowdfunding, P2P. Each one promises higher returns or smarter risks, newer strategies, and many more. It is natural to feel overwhelmed by these offers. That's why many busy professionals are confused about how to allocate their assets effectively. But what if you never had to be confused about asset allocation ever again? Because one of the most respected investors, Howard Marks, recently shared a brand new framework in his late 2024 investment memos to his investors. And the good news, it only boils down to two simple ideas to get rid of all confusion with regards to asset allocation. If you don't know, Howard Marks is a legendary investor who's been in the industry for more than 50 years. He's the co-founder and co-chairman of Oak Tree Capital, which manages over $200 billion in asset under management. His memos are so influential that even Warren Buffett himself says, when I see Howard Marks' memos in my email, they are the first thing I open. So when Howard Marks shares a new way to think about asset allocation, it's definitely worth paying attention to. Here's the first simple idea. Fundamentally, there are only two asset classes. Number one, ownership, like stocks, real estate, businesses, or even crypto. You might think that cryptocurrency is new, but it is essentially a form of ownership of a project. So if you own Bitcoin today, you are hoping that that Bitcoin will be more valuable in the future as you own a slice of the project. Number two, debt. It is money that you lend to a borrower with an agreed upon interest that you want to receive in a predictable future. That borrower can be the government through T-bills, for example, or public corporations, or even your friends through P2P lending. And the most basic thing to understand is that ownership is aggressive. It has no guarantees, but you can participate in the upside if the value of that ownership grows in the future. And debt is defensive. It has capped and contractual and more predictable. These two asset classes, according to Howard Marks, are not cousins. They are night and day. And once you see it this way, the noise of 15 different asset classes suddenly becomes really clear to you, isn't it? Because it is only a matter of asking, do I want to own or do I want to lend? But here's the catch. Knowing the difference between ownership and debt is not enough, because in real life, you'll hold some of both. And the real challenge is you have to balance between the two. That balance is what Howard Marks calls risk posture, which is the second simple idea, to balance the ownership and the debt of the assets you allocate to. In his words, he says very simply, the essential decision in investing is on how much emphasis one should put on preserving capital and how much on growing it. But how do we find that balance? So, one of our clients is a doctor in Labuan Bajo, New East Nusa Tenggara in Indonesia. He spends 10 hours a day saving lives in the hospital, and he earns quite a good money, but his expenses is close to zero because he's so busy and he doesn't really have the time to spend his money. So in just a few years, he's managed to build up a lot of savings that most people can dream about. But he faces a dilemma. He knows that inflation is quietly eating his money from the background, so he naturally allocates 60% of his assets into stocks. But he often questions himself, is it too aggressive or is it too defensive? And that question is very important to be answered to find your risk posture. And that is what risk posture is all about. It is not really about maximizing your returns, but it's more about optimizing the outcome of your investments based on your life circumstance. And that life circumstance is exactly specific to you. Everybody is different. They have different financial commitments, they have different financial goals, and they have different financial responsibilities as well. But there are some few questions that you can ask to find those things to determine your risk posture. For example, do I have children? children or a spouse who depend on me? Is my income fragile or is it predictable? When will I actually need this money? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? So if you manage to answer these questions truthfully, then you will know the risk posture that is right for you, as it will give you a lot more peace of mind and it helps you stick to your investment strategy long enough without you switching when there's a market panic. And here's the best part. We built an application to help you figure your risk posture out. It takes less than 5 minutes. You answer a few behavior-based questions about your goals, commitments, and time horizons. And these questions are research-backed from top behavioral finance experts, which I put the links in the description. And here's an important point that I would want you to remember when you use the application. It is a mirror, it is not a prescription, it's not a financial advice, and it's for educational purposes, only for you to reflect on your life circumstance. It doesn't tell you what to buy next week. It helps you reflect on whether your current allocation fits your life circumstance. Your risk posture doesn't change every time your RM calls with a new investment product. It usually only changes when there's a significant life events that happen to you. For example, marriage, having kids, or getting an unexpectedly huge bonus, or preparing for retirement. That's when you visit your risk posture again to find the balance between how much you should own and how much you should lend. 60%, 50%, 40%, and so on. It's free and it's zero cost, and it's designed to give you more peace of mind. So here's the key takeaway from this video. Asset allocation doesn't have to be complicated. There are only two asset classes, ownership and debt. And there's only one essential decision, the balance between aggressiveness versus defensiveness or your risk posture based on your current life circumstance. That's it. Try the app today and let me know what you think in the comments. I'll end off by saying that a lot of busy professionals that I encounter also face the problem of having enough conviction when it comes to investing. But actually there's a real simple solution to have more conviction in your investment. And I'll be discussing that in the next video, which you can click here right now. See you there.